All right, guys, welcome back for another video. I just wanted to take a brief moment to kind of upload some of my thoughts on the FBTC trading pair. If you guys have heard me talk about this before, you probably know that I generally look at Ethereum Bitcoin as like the altcoin index. Um, I just think Ethereum is the most important altcoin, and a lot of the other, important altcoins are based off the Ethereum protocol or our ERC20 tokens. So but anyway, I just want to dive into the nitty gritty of price action and kind of talk about the different structures and formations here. So really, when I'm looking at FBTC, I'm looking at the chart from basically March of 2021, and I'm looking at the high of December 2021. So nearly a year of price action, but this impulsive movement here, really the impulsive leg was all the way up here, but you get one throw over here. Now, anytime you see this type of formation, you get this impulsive movement up, and then price kind of comes down, consolidates a little bit, volatility dries up, and then you get a little bit of a throw over above here. This is the area where if you were looking for continuation, you would expect this to continue very quickly, right? If you see price like come back down into the range, generally that's not going to be a good sign. And you can drill down on like the lower time frames right as soon as you see that break and start trading the lower time frames. But the idea is, you'd want your risk management to be somewhere around the highs, right? So that, you know, on the lower time frames, you would see a pretty big swing above the highs, and then you would have some type of intermediate, time frame low here. But the idea is that if price comes back down within the range, that's generally a bad sign. It generally means that this consolidation is going to break down. Now, ultimately, it did come down, rally a little bit, and then ultimately broke these lows. Whether you're representing it with this trend line here or this low right here, theoretically, I would be looking at this low here because technically the uptrend isn't broken until this area here is broken. But either way you're looking at it, you did get that confirmed break, especially right here, and then you see the move down into this void, right? Fill this liquidity void here. There's a lot of price inefficiency left behind on this move. And then you get a rally here. Now, this rally may have been, influenced by fundamental factors kind of leading into the merge. So you had the Ethereum merge coming right around the top, actually, funny enough. But you had price run down, grab this liquidity, and run up into the anticipation of the merge. Now, this area is here. So the same pattern that we see here on Ethereum, when on the weekly chart, when it ran up above here and ran the stop losses, we actually see the same exact pattern right here, but you really need to go down to a daily chart to kind of see it. So again, I have this high marked off. We're going to just use that as a historical high. But as we saw on the weekly, this run above, we see the same type of distinction here. Price runs just above. If we go on the RSI, we probably see divergence. Yes, we do. So this high on the RSI is, you got lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on price in that historically significant area. And then again, you get your break of structure. Let's see. When this low is broken right here, this low right there, price comes down, bounces off it a little bit, and then runs down. Now, as you can see, I've kind of got this, price found some support down here, and I drew this bearish retracement, 618. Price rallied up into that 618, came down back into this consolidation base, liquidity base down here, rallied off, rallied back up into this base up here. And then you see how it's kind of like you're getting a narrowing volatility range right here. You can mark it like this. But the idea is, you get the idea. Basically, at some point, price needs to make a decision and needs to break one way or the other. Anytime you get a volatility contraction, eventually you'll see a volatility expansion, and generally the size of the expansion is, somewhat corollary to the time spent in the volatility contraction period. So you know, at some point there will be a break, and whether it breaks up or down, I mean, that is entirely speculation. But there are certain levels I'd be looking at. So if we draw this, let's see, if we draw this level here to here, now this low here, basically your zero point 0.7 low right here. If you see that violated, on a say a daily chart, if the daily comes down and closes below this level right here, you know, then you're starting to see a situation where price is breaking down to the downside. Now the flip side, if you see price on the FBTC chart rally up above the zero point 0.8 level, that generally would be an indication that okay, well maybe we'll make a run for this level. But if we kind of zoom back out to the weekly chart, for this thing to break down, you have these significant highs, right, that are setting lower highs, right? So you've got this high right here, this lower high relative to this high, and then you would expect this high to remain in place. So really you could start using that level as an area to manage risk, whether you're short or whatever. Because I do think if you see a weekly close above the zero point zero 0.08 level, then it starts to kind of break this formation, and uh, maybe we're seeing something different. Now, there's no hard and fast law that this has to retrace, because we really did see a pretty significant retracement right here, down to fill this void. But the implications are pretty big, because if we zoom out on the monthly, say we do get a weekly close. I say we, but I mean FBTC. Let's say FBTC does get a weekly close above the zero point zero 0.08 level. Well, then on the monthly chart, if you're running into year end, uh, say you close above and then spend the next couple of weeks rallying, well, then you might get a situation where you're closing the monthly above this area right here, and really there's not much further to go before you start creating the highest monthly close on Ethereum BTC ever. So you know I mean, while that is possible, I tend to that I would see that scenario as kind of a dangerous area, because then you get people on Twitter saying, the flipping's coming, Ethereum's going to take over Bitcoin, and you know maybe at some point, but probably not when everybody on Twitter is saying it for the first time. Now on the flip side, could Ethereum run much lower? Well, generally that's what we do see during bear markets. Like during this bear market, obviously, Ethereum kind of sold off dramatically, and we didn't really see that. I mean, we got 2 months of down in the FBTC chart, but we didn't see our characteristic historic Ethereum just shits the bed relative to Bitcoin. You know, in some ways that's a sign of strength, but in other ways, it could be a signal of ominous things to come. But now, what I will say about Ethereum is that Ethereum is one of the few battle tested altcoins that's on the market. Really, the key insight I look at to determine like the strength and the underlying fundamentals of any altcoin is, has it survived multiple cycles, multiple Bitcoin cycles, 4-year cycles, and has it thrived after those cycles, right? Because you have a situation in the crypto markets where basically pretty much every crypto or altcoin that has ever existed is like not really relevant following one bear market. Um, and there's a very few exceptions to that. And really, for me, that's the gold standard for shifting through the thousands of different altcoins. And we're actually getting that test right now. So, of course, we won't have that confirmation. We only have that confirmation for Ethereum because it, survived the prior cycle, and it's still, generally doing well now. But if you look at some of the altcoins that were big during the 2020-2021 run up, I would really pay attention to those, especially how they do coming out of this bear cycle, because the ones that do continue to thrive, they probably do have some strong underlying fundamentals. And, it's basically the market telling you that there's something valuable there and something to pay attention to. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.